I want you to know that I put on pants for this. Hey y'all, it's Brody, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. Take my glasses off because they're clear. You guys know the drill. I'm gonna reorganize all of my books. I don't know why, but today that I'm filming this is International Mental Health Day, and the way that these books are laid out in my apartment stresses me out. I have 4 places that I keep my books. I have this alcove right here. I have a tiny shelf on the side. I have another small shelf in my bedroom. And then I keep my TBR books on my nightstand. So, because it's World Mental Health Day and seasonal depression is kicking my ass, I decided to do something for me, for my self-care. And that's going to be reorganizing all of the books in my apartment. This could be because I'm feeling a little manic. But I also know my mental health, and I know that whenever I get down, I unhaul a lot of books. So this will also be like part reorganization, part bookshelf tour, part unhaul. So fun. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drag all of the books into my living room, and then I'm going to go through them all, and we're going to unhaul stuff and see where we can put stuff, and hopefully by the end of the video I will have cut down my collection considerably, and also I can, feel better. That's the point of this. Okay, cool. So step 1 is getting all of the books together, and there are way too many of them. As you can see, I have a problem. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, sorry, the washing machine's going. What I'm gonna do, as I sort through these books and figure out what's what, I'm going to keep a count so we can see how many books I own and then how many books I unhaul, and, I'm also doing something fun on Twitter. I put a tweet up saying, send me bookish prompts, like a book that I rated 2 stars, or a book with a pretty cover, etc., so on and so forth, because I'm really bad at unhauling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the prompts that people send me on Twitter, and I might also do the book unhaul tag and go by those prompts and see what I can get rid of. Okay, cool. So I'm going to count the books. I own a grand total of 219 books. Jinkies. 219 books, that's a lot. So we're gonna see what I can cut down. First, I'm gonna go through my TBR books. So of the 219 books that I own, I just counted 34 of them are TBR books. Personally, I like to keep my physical TBR to under 30 books. So I'm gonna have to unhaul at minimum 4 books. But here's the problem. There are other books I want to get. Need to get for like book clubs and stuff that I'm doing. So I'm gonna have to cut more than 4. My hair just keeps getting progressively worse and worse. Okay, I wrote down the questions for the Unhaul tag. A book you gave a low rating. I don't remember what I gave a lot. Like, I can tell you if you ask me what I rated the book, but I can't tell you if you know, I can't just, like, point at a book and be like, out of this huge stack, out of how many? 219 books, I can't look at this and be like, oh, I gave that a low rating. Oh, I gave that a low rating. So, I'm gonna have to dig for a second. Oh my gosh. Okay. And to be clear, there are 10 prompts, but I am unhauling more than 10. Here's the thing, I just did an unhaul for, like, BookNet Fest, and I gave Cobb a bunch of books, and I brought 46 books to the book swap, plus the 4 that I gave to Cobb, so, I just got rid of essentially, like, 50 books before that, and then I gave my friend Heather, like, 20 books, so, like, I have a problem. A book I rated low, okay. Oh, shit. Oh, no, these were all 5 stars. That's why I kept them. Oh, no, oh dear. What are these? They're, page out, so I can't see. Okay. Oh, no, I kind of want to reread this. Okay, a book I rated low. I gave Symptoms of Being Human by Jeff Garvin 1 star when I read it. I don't give out 1-star ratings that frequently. This one is about a gender nonconforming teenager named Riley. And, I don't know if I was projecting my own insecurities about my gender onto this book. No, I'm not gonna. I kind of want to reread it, but I've been saying for like a year that I want to reread it, and it's never gonna happen. So I think I'm just gonna ditch it, and hopefully someone else who needs this and can appreciate it will find it and love it. So this one's getting unhauled. I'm going to go with Bloodthirsty by Flynn Meaney. I read this right as the Twilight craze was happening, and it's about a teenage boy who knows that, like, girls think vampires are hot, so he pretends to be a vampire in order to get a girl's attention, and from what I remember, it's super sexist, so I'm... That's 1, 2, what's next? A series you won't be completing, and I have the answer to this one. It's gonna be The Merciless by Danielle Vega. When I tell you that I loved this first book, I mean I loved the first book. But here's my problem. They are such pretty hardcovers, and my bookstore only carries the soft covers of the second book, and I keep telling myself, you can buy the soft cover, it's okay, but I can't make myself do it because I want all of my copies to match. Therefore, I don't think I'm ever actually going to buy the soft cover, so I'm probably not going to keep going with this series. I love it so much, it's so pretty, but it's not going to happen. So, cool. Next is a book you DNF'd, and I don't DNF books. I don't ever call something completely DNF, but I will put it down with the bookmark in it back on the shelf and be like, I am returning to this later. Some of them have been put down for a while, so I'm just going to pick the one that's been on the return shelf the longest. And that's going to be Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil by John Berendt. This is a nonfiction story. It's like a fictionalized nonfiction story about a murder that happened in Savannah, Georgia. I read this at the end of last year, after Christmas, beginning of this year, and it's separated into two parts, the before the murder and after the murder. I finished the before the murder part and never got to the after the murder part, and I haven't picked it up since, like, January, so, like, I'm not gonna finish this, unfortunately. I need to accept that. Next prompt is a book that you have multiple copies of. I don't do multiple copies. I don't do the collector's editions. I don't do anything like that. If there is an edition of a book I want, then I will make sure that I get that edition, so I don't have, like, 4 copies of Six of Crows. That's just me personally. If you do, it's totally fine, whatever. That's just not me. So, I figure for every prompt that I get on Twitter and that's in the tag that I don't have, like, an answer for, I am going to just pick a book at random. That's going to be Another Day by David Levithan. This also could have worked for the series you're not going to finish. Every Day is one of my favorite books of all time. This is the companion novel told through the love interest's perspective, and I read it and I didn't like it. I thought it was very unnecessary, so, like, I do want to read the 3rd book because it is, like, a sequel, and this was just a companion novel, but, like, you're going to notice that I'm unhauling a lot of David Levithan because he was my favorite author for a while, and I told myself that, like, my goal with, like, my personal library was to collect every David Levithan book that I could. And then, like, I stopped caring, unfortunately, so I'm getting rid of a lot of them that I read, I didn't like, but I was holding on to them for the collection. So, a book you never actually got to. It's going to be A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I really want to read this book. I still kind of do, but it was gifted to me by a coworker, hi Heather, and she told me that it was really slow and it took her forever to get into, and nothing really happened. So I think I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. If you want it back, just tell me and I'll give it back. But yeah. The next prompt is, as I have them written down here, why don't I just hold them up and look cute? A book you bought because of the hype. I have arcs on my TBR. That's going to be When the Sky Fell on Splendor by Emily Henry. This was pretty hyped up because it's supposed to be like The Serpent King meets Stranger Things, and I love both of those things. But I've heard not great things about this, and this came out in March, and I still haven't read it, and it's like an arc, so it's not even the finished copy. This one is a book you bought because of the cover, and I did not buy this one, but I did pick it up from the book swap at BookNet Fest, and that is The Testing by Joelle Charbonneau. This is, I thought the cover was really pretty, and it also sounded like a young adult, it's a young adult dystopian. It reminded me of like the Hunger Games Maze Runner, and I thought the cover was pretty, and I like shiny. But, like, I'm not gonna read it, so. This one is a book you don't know anything about. I am really good about reading synopses and stuff before I pick them up, but the book swap at BookNet Fest was very, like, overwhelmingly a lot of people for me, and I was just kind of, like, grabbing things and putting them back and grabbing things and putting them back. And I ended up getting a book called Permanent Record by Leslie Stella, and I know, like, the bare minimum about this, and I don't know that I would plan on reading it had I not gotten it for free, so we're probably gonna, chuck this one. And the last prompt on the tag is a book that you didn't buy for yourself. So I could have combined these prompts, but I didn't because the goal is to get as many out as I can. So, for that one, I'm going with Still Life with Crows by Preston and Child. This was another book that a coworker gave me. Has to do with like a Kansas town where everyone's dying. Is it a serial killer or is it a curse? I don't think I'm ever gonna read it, so I'm stretching, sorry. Oh, I look like a Snapchat filter right now. What I think I'm going to try and do is figure out, as I'm going through the books and sorting them, which ones I want to unhaul, and then try and fit them into the prompts. So, that might be cheating, but, you know, we out here doing it. Hello, I'm back. So, sorry, I'm off screen. So what I've decided to do is disregard the tweets, because I don't want to force myself to get rid of everything, or get rid of something that I do genuinely want to keep. Everything that I chose for that first stack, like, that's going. I'm fine with getting rid of those. But I did, like, another 2 comb-throughs of my collection, and decided that the rest of these books are getting unhauled. So I'm just going to burn through them super quick.
The first one is 1 + 1 = Blue by M.J. Ock. The second one is Saying by V.V. Green. The third one is the Dark Visions trilogy Bind Up by L.J. Smith. The next one is The Babysitter's Coven by Kate Williams. And next we have The Geek's Guide to Unrequited Love by Sarvanaz Tosh. Next we have A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Survive the Night by Danielle Vega. The Meg by Steve Alton. This one I have a specific reason for I want to talk about. It's because I don't have the dust jacket for this anymore. It ripped, and I want a different edition, so I'm unhauling this one so I can justify getting a different edition with the dust jacket, so that way I'm not just holding up a blank book talking to the screen. Plus, like, despite it being trashy, I genuinely do love that book. I just want a different edition. And I'm taking these to the used bookstore, so hopefully I can, like, switch it out for a different edition. That would be even better. Back into the Unhaul. Hatching Magic by Ann Downer. And Everybody Sees the Ants by A.S. King. Next, we have 3 books in a row. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, and Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List, all by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. I will also be unhauling A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney, Labyrinth Laws by Zoraida Cordova, Every Exquisite Thing by Matthew Quick, More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera, and The Revolution of Brody Randolph by Brandy Colbert. Here's the thing. I enjoyed all of these books, and I love them, but I'm not going to reread them, and I want them to be at a place where they're going to be picked up and loved, and that's the important thing. So I might try to send some of these to Own Voices reviewers, or I will, you know, take them to the used bookstore. Either way, I just want them to go to a good home, because I have loved them, and I have gained what I need to gain from them. I've consumed the stories, and I just want someone else to. And you know what I think is crazy is that all of those books I gave 5 stars. Next, I have A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This book makes me sad, and I don't want it on my shelf anymore. I have Goosebumps Horrorland, a survival guide. I'm keeping the Goosebumps Horrorland series, but I'm getting rid of this because it's taking up space. Then I have the first volume of the Archie comics. This is like the reprint with like the new art style because of Riverdale. I'm not going to keep reading them. This is like my gateway into comic books, and I needed something familiar to like use me in. But now that I'm in, I'm good and I don't need it. I will also be unhauling A Dictionary of Dreams by Rose and Sarah, The Phantom Toll Booth by Norton Jester, a bind-up of Edgar Allan Poe's Mysteries, The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black, There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Meyer, We Are Okay by Nina LaCour, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I might keep this one. I think I might keep this one. The Chocolate War by Robert Cormier. The Statistical... I can never say this title. This was the first book that I bought because of BookTube. I'm keeping this one too. What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. And Will Grayson by David Levithan and John Green. These were hard to get rid of. Like, this round was very hard to get rid of because these were books that I was initially going to keep, and I was like, no, you know what? We're going to comb through it. We're going to be very nitpicky. And honestly, I might have more to unhaul once I start to organize the stacks, so we'll see.
So essentially what I noticed that I'm keeping are books that fall into very specific genres that I like. I'm keeping those. I am keeping series, both completed and incompleted, that I plan on finishing. I'm keeping a lot of contemporaries that I think have reread value. I'm keeping nonfiction. I'm keeping childhood favorites. And I'm keeping graphic novels, manga, stuff like that, for the most part. So, I'm gonna arrange everything now into stacks. So yeah, cool. Okay, so explaining right quick what I did with this. I originally had this in order of priority for readathons and vibes and whatnot, but that wasn't going to work. So instead, I decided to stack all of the same sized books, like the standard young adult size, together, and then stack other stuff on top of it. I use my tarot box as a bookend, which does eliminate space for books, but you know, I could easily fit these two right here. And wait, do I have room for that? See, then the problem is the tarot is going to fall off, so I need to find a different bookend. I don't have anything that could be used for a different bookend. So I think this is good on arrangement for now. I will just like keep these here and do that there, and maybe we can organize this a little bit better. Let's put you here. You're not gonna stay. Cool, never mind. There we go. That looks a little bit better. I stacked them based on height. So cool. And then these two are books that I intend to read pretty soon. It's The Glacier by Kim Legay and The Last True Poets of the Sea by Julia Drake. I'm very excited for these, so I'm going to leave these out on my nightstand because those are probably going to be like quick reads for me. Now, originally this shelf, as you can see, was my shelf for all of my maritime ocean books. But because it's one of the few shelves without a top, you know, like it's kind of open, I want to use this for graphic novels and comic books. And I will figure out something else to do with my maritime shelf. What does this look like with the flash on here? Okay, looks better. Next, I'm going to take my R.L. Stine collection and try and fit them all on that space. So, wish me luck. So there's that. I have the Horrorland books first, and then my original Goosebumps. I don't know why I put Horrorland first, I just think it looks nicer. So yeah, next we're going to do some of my favorite of all time series. So we have the Heroes of Olympus 1 through 5, and I don't know what to put in that next space. I have 3 more series right here to put up. And I don't want to do all of my books facing up, I want to do some of them on the side. I might flip the Heroes of Olympus series. I think that would take up less space. So there we have that and the Night World. I have one leftover Goosebumps Collector's Edition that I can just like put right there, as well as this book of poetry that I have. This was the first book of poetry that I ever was published in. Yes, I'm a published poet. It was a like school competition, and it got sent to like the National Library Association or something, and like I won an award and had to read it out loud to the class, so that was awkward. And it's a really cringy poem. It's not even my favorite thing I've ever written. And then I have The Haunting Hour, which is like 10 short stories by R.L. Stine. So we're going to throw that bad boy right there. And then here we have the last 2 series. We have the Fablehaven series by Brandon Mull, and then the I call them the Nicholas Flamel series by Michael Scott. Yes, Michael Scott. These are some of my favorites. They are so underrated. I hate the new editions. They're ugly. I love these. These are my favorites. And I want these two in hardback so they match the rest of the series. But one of my favorite book series of all time. And it looks like we can fit a few more things on the shelf, so I'm going to go grab some standalones. And I'll see you in a minute. Here we have the first completed shelf. I love it. I was trying to avoid book Jenga with this Unhaul, but you know what? I'm okay with that. It's fine. I do want to eventually get like a Billy bookcase like every other basic bitch on here. And then I hopefully won't have to play book Jenga. But like, everything is visible and it's aesthetically pleasing to my eye. It might not be to yours, but sorry. I feel like I could even fit something else like right here, like maybe a clunkier, bigger book. Maybe. Let's put you here. No, you're too tall. Let's put you. Are you too thick? Okay, you're at the back now. And now I don't like the way this looks. We'll find somewhere else for you. Okay, oh, that's fine for now. I'll fix it. No, I'm not gonna fix it. I like it like that. If you can't tell, I kind of like chaotic looking shelves. I think it's fun. Okay, so now we have to figure out what is getting displayed and what is getting hidden. Then we have just some of my favorite books and not so favorite books. I just wanted to have a good array of things I'm proud of owning, things I'm proud to have read, things that I think will be good conversation starters. Like, Jaws is always a conversation starter. Plus, I like to flex that I have a signed red, white, and royal blue arc. We have some of my favorite books. We have a bit of indigenous representation here, which makes me really happy with, with Code Talker and Trail of Lightning. So, yeah, I'm very pleased with this shelf. And finally, we have the catch-all shelf. This used to be double stacked with things up top, right there, and then the books went two back. But I don't think I have to do that anymore. So that's awesome. Where's my flash? Also, these are like my boyfriend's books, but he's not really a big reader, so we just keep those there. I have one book that will not fit on my shelves without me hiding it. And I can easily take some of these off and put them on that tiny black shelf and fit this book. I want you to realize that before I started this video, my nightstand was overflowing with TBR books. The tiny black shelf was front to back, double stacked. This had books all behind it. And I did the damn thing. I am so fucking proud of myself. So, we're here for the moment of truth. I'm going to take, important decisions. Oh no, stay still. I'm going to take practical magic. I'm going to take a work in progress. We're going to cross our fingers that these two are okay. I'm going to slide them in here with Simon and Wild Beauty. And then we're going to take this Shakespeare book. Which happens to be the exact size of a standard young adult hardcover, apparently. Scooch these over. I did it. I did it. I'm very pleased with myself. So, like I said, I've had a shit day today. And this is something that I do. I did one last year where I unhauled 70 books. I haven't done the final count yet, but I think that this unhaul makes 50 of these, plus the 50 that I took to BookNet Fest. So I've unhauled so many books, and I feel so much better. And I want to keep doing these, so I think, like, every year I might do, like, a culling of the books. I might trim the fat down a little bit more. And, yeah, I don't know. I hope you found this video enjoyable. I ended up unhauling 54. I unhauled 54 books. So that brings my total down to 165 books owned. And I kicked some fucking ass today. And I did some goddamn self-care. And I'm proud of myself. I don't really know what kind of comment question to do for a video like this. So, here's a good one. Let me know in the comments what is a criteria that you have to know that you are keeping a book. What makes you say, like, you're never going to unhaul this book, it's going to stay with you forever. For me, I thought it was rating a book 5 stars, but clearly not, because I unhauled a lot of 5 stars. I don't know. I think mine might just be like, if a book hits my soul in that good place, like Slay, or Into the Drowning Deep, or There. Like, I just know whenever I read a book that, like, this is going to be one that stays in my personal collection forever. And, yeah. I don't know. Thank you for watching and going on this mental health exercise journey with me. I hope it wasn't too boring. This is going to be a long-ass video, though. So, yeah. I hope you have a wonderful whatever it is, wherever you are. I will see you next time for another video. Bye.